the 1300s, a disease began spreading across Europe so fast that entire towns vanished within months. It became known as the Black Death, and it would kill tens of millions of people, making it one of the deadliest pandemics in human history. The plague is believed to have originated somewhere in Asia before spreading west along the great trade routes that connected continents. Merchants, caravans, and ships unknowingly carried the disease farther and farther across the known world. By 1347, infected ships had begun arriving at ports in Europe. At first, there were only rumors, strange sickness, sudden deaths, entire crews falling ill at sea. Then the disease exploded. The plague spread with terrifying speed through crowded medieval cities where sanitation was poor and people lived packed closely together. Rats carrying infected fleas are believed to have played a major role in transmitting the disease, though people at the time had no idea what was causing it. Victims often developed fever, vomiting, chills, and agonizing swellings called buboes. Fear spread just as fast as the plague itself. Families abandoned infected relatives. Parents fled from sick children. Villages sealed themselves off from outsiders in desperate attempts to survive. In many places, the death toll became overwhelming. Gravediggers could not keep up. Mass graves were dug by the thousands. Bodies sometimes remained in homes or streets because there was no one left to bury them. Entire towns were nearly wiped out, and nobody understood why it was happening. Doctors of the time used bizarre and ineffective treatments. Some believed the disease spread through poisoned air. Others thought it was punishment from God for humanity's sins. Religious panic swept across Europe. Groups known as flagellants marched from town to town, whipping themselves publicly, believing pain and suffering would convince God to end the plague. At the same time, fear and desperation turned people against one another. Meanwhile, society itself began breaking down. Trade slowed dramatically. Food shortages spread. Fields went unharvested because so many workers were dead. Some nobles suddenly found themselves without enough peasants to work their lands. Entire monasteries vanished after priests and monks died caring for the sick. The scale of death was almost unimaginable. Historians estimate that between 30 and 50% of Europe's population may have died in only a few years. In some regions, the losses were even worse. Cities that once bustled with activity became eerily quiet. Homes sat abandoned, roads emptied. For survivors, life afterward felt completely different. But the Black Death did more than kill millions. It changed Europe itself. Because labor had become scarce, surviving workers suddenly had far more value. Peasants and laborers in many areas began demanding higher wages, better treatment, and greater freedoms. Old systems started weakening. The feudal order that had dominated medieval Europe for centuries began to slowly crack under the pressure. The plague also transformed how people viewed religion, medicine, and the world around them. Faith in traditional authorities weakened after so many prayers and remedies failed to stop the disaster. And although outbreaks of plague would continue returning for centuries, the first wave of the Black Death remained the most devastating. It reshaped economies, changed social structures, altered the balance of power across Europe.